Oh, hey guys. Welcome back to another MaJeliv video. Today we're going to be watching Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore. And, yeah, no, it should be a lot of fun. And you guys can come along with us. I just need to get out of this first. Give me a second.
We are on our way finally to see the Secrets of Dumbledore. I am so hyped, so excited. I have my Hogwarts jacket on. Just to be back in the wizarding world is just so exciting, and to be able to see the story of just the past of Gryffindor and those mighty wizards, and to see these characters again is just really, really exciting. So we're rushing to the theater now. We're a little bit, I think we're right on time, like right on time. So yeah, I'm hoping that they kind of refresh us on some things, because I would have loved to kind of transition straight in. But yeah, we'll see. I'm definitely excited for it. I think it's gonna be great, and I know I've been waiting for a very long time, so that's my take on it.
So,
hello.
we'll start with you, Mom. What did you? Yeah, we'll let you start. So Secrets of Dumbledore.
Secrets of Dumbledore, spoiler time. I was very excited about this movie because I love Harry Potter, and just anything that comes out that's related to this world just gets me, excited, and I'm into it. But there was, certain things after the movie after seeing it, that I kind of reflected on. There's obviously the comparison of Grindelwald, the characters based on the different actors that they chose to use. So that already gives it like a disconnect, I feel, because the last movie really built that up, and you get to meet him, and then he's like this scary guy, and then they just switch him up, and they meet in this cafe, him and Dumbledore. It just seemed a little like, whoa, it was like this shift. It was strange. I did love learning about Dumbledore's past, like his sister and that whole story, his brother, the relationship that they had. That was great. I loved seeing the use of magic, the different not curses, but
Spells.
The spells.
It was visually stunning.
So there was some really cool things. I liked it better than the last movie in some ways. I don't know, the last movie had this like cool like magic incorporated into, like when they would go into the suitcase and all these creatures, and they would go from one place to the other to try to run away. Like, I don't know, the characters, I think we really got a feel for them a little bit more. This one was more plot driven. The first movie. This one was a little more plot driven, to kind of, I don't know, I think they had an end in mind, and it was very like, just let's get to the next thing. It was like, let's just start here, and we're gonna get here, and we're gonna just take you through that. It didn't feel like this continuation of what we've been going through. So overall, I enjoyed it. We'll see where it goes. I know there's a lot of opinions about maybe people not liking it as much. I'm gonna follow it and watch it because I'm intrigued. I want to see what comes next, and I'm hoping they make more. I could see kind of where they're trying to go with the storyline, so I'm hoping they do a good job with it. But I'm a little worried that, I don't know, I think there's a past of Harry Potter that I would have liked to discover more of, and this is like a whole other side, and I'm not sure what they're doing with it. So yeah, I'm kind of still on the fence about different things.
I also wonder if creatively, I know there's been a lot of like drama in that whole industry and company too, so I wonder, like with creative differences and like where the story went, I wonder if it was just lost at one point. I mean, still overall, I definitely liked it better than the second movie.
Yes.
I was also very little when I watched it, so I may have to rewatch it and see what I think about it. The new actor for Grindelwald, I really liked his approach to it. Johnny Depp obviously was said that he wasn't Grindelwald, but I like how it was a different approach, not him trying to be what Johnny Depp's Grindelwald was. It kind of made him seem more human, like you understand why Dumbledore and Grindelwald really had a past with each other. He just seems more, you know, easier to relate to, I think, in a way. Doesn't mean Johnny Depp's performance was bad. I think his performance was also really good. I just think for us to understand more the secrets of Dumbledore, Grindelwald has to kind of make sense. And he definitely made more sense in this third movie. So I appreciated that a whole lot. But yeah, no, I do agree with my mom. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with these. I don't know. I heard, I could be wrong, that they were trying to make 5 movies. There's supposed to be 2 more. But I'm not sure if that's still, like, permanent, if that's still going to happen.
Right.
But again, anything of the Wizarding World has always been so much fun. And visually, the cinematography was beautiful. The acting was fantastic. Like, nothing bad about the acting or anything. It's more, I think, just of where the story is going. But I don't know. I think I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It's very fun and enjoyable to watch. But again, it makes you wonder where the story is going to go. You know, following the future. So.
No, I mean, I'm agreeing with what you guys are saying. But it had been so long that the Crimes of Grindelwald came out that I honestly had completely forgot about it. I just remember the ending being super depressing. And also the fact that when we found out that the movie wouldn't come out for a while, especially with the change of Grindelwald and all the drama that was going on, there was not really a hope of another one coming out. It seemed very much so like we wouldn't get another one. And it was really sad. So I feel like as movie lovers, and I think we had to almost let go of that being a reality. So seeing this movie in theaters finally was, I think it was a really, I think it had been long awaited to see the continuation of this story. And yes, the change of Johnny Depp to this other actor, his name again, sorry.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen? Okay, there it is. I think he did do something different. I thought it was believable, and he was eerie in his subtleness. But I think the new creatures, and also there was a lot of funny moments. I think also with the score, there was moments where music from the original the original 8 movies, there was music that the closer they got to Hogwarts, the more the music sounded like it did.
That was really cool.
So I really loved hearing the score and hearing a lot of those things come back. Seeing Hogwarts in the theaters again. I know there was a little bit of Hogwarts at the end of Crimes of Grindelwald, but not as much as they did in this one. They went into the Room of Requirement. They went to Hogsmeade. Like, so many things that were very nostalgic and very exciting to see again on the big screen. So a lot of positives. I think this one was really great. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is still such a unique and incredible story. But I think this one comes pretty close. It wrapped up in a good way. I didn't feel depressed at the end of it. Crimes of Grindelwald made me, like, I just remember only the feeling that it gave me afterwards, which was sadness. How the baker lost his lost Sweetie. Is that
Queenie?
Queenie. He calls her Sweetie or something. I don't know. He lost Queenie, and that was really sad. And so there was a lot of division at the end of that movie. So I think this one, in fact, concluded a lot of the things that were revealed in the second one. I just remember being very confused, but this one was very straightforward, and I think there was a lot of things like the whole dynamic with Albus and his brother, and how Albus, what's his brother's name? I'm forgetting. Aberforth and Credence. I think that whole dynamic as well was. So there's just so many things as a story that I think was revealed and also concluded. And as fans of the Harry Potter series, seeing the same locations, I think it really hit home, and it was really nostalgic. But I still think Fantastic Beasts: Where to Find Them is the better movie. But I do like seeing a Harry Potter movie once again in the theaters. and the music, I feel like, was one of my favorite things.
I'd say the first one was like the best one. This third one was the next one, and then the second one would go last. Like Josh said, you're right. I didn't think about that, but a lot of the things that were opened up were closed in this movie. Like even Credence, I loved that whole twist of his.
Yep.
Learning about why he is the way he is and his origin too. Like, and the way that in protecting Credence, then the spell was kind of broken.
How the Phoenix was like preventing the Obscurus from killing him. How it was blowing it away from him. Like, there were just so many beautiful things about this movie. To say that it's bad, like, I feel like just put the nerdiness to the side and like really take in the heart of the story. There's a reason why a screenplay writer came in and made it so it was more cinematic. That was the thing that we heard from the video, is that Crimes of Grindelwald was too much written like a book rather than a screenplay. And I think this one cinematically, as a cinematic journey, it was well done.
The writer they added was Steve Kloves, who wrote pretty much all of the Harry Potter films except for the first one.
Makes sense.
So Steve came on to kind of iron out some things that J.K. Rowling was doing. And I think that's, to your point, it definitely added layers of things that I thoroughly enjoyed. There's a lot of literary things going on in this third film that I loved. Especially the Dumbledore household story, when we learn from Dumbledore that it is unknown to the family who indeed slayed their sister out of a very emotional moment.
But they blame themselves.
They blame themselves. And naturally, I mean, she's gone. So you're, even when it's nowhere near your fault and someone you love is gone and in a tragic way, you can't help but blame yourself in one way or another. So that part of the Dumbledore family is heart-wrenching, and it's just, it was just a great take on this character that was so mysterious to us through Harry's eyes and in the original films. Now, and I know that a lot of the things that were revealed in this film were revealed in the books. I think we learned from a friend who's read all the books that some of these details were revealed in, I think it was Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince. Thank you. More of that history of Dumbledore that we just didn't know until this film. So I think I personally appreciated that, because I've lived Harry Potter mostly through the cinematic experience. And I also, because we work in this industry, in this medium of art, it's difficult to do a movie that can properly portray what's on the page, and so on the original page, be it a book. So in this case, I loved a lot of what was there. I would have liked a little bit more of Newt Scamander.
Yeah.
But he did start us off. The movie begins with us experiencing the birth of the Chillin, right? And then the death of the Chillin. It's tragic pretty quickly. And so we go on this roller coaster ride. The visual spectacle is all great.
The swivel.
Right, all of it.
That was hilarious.
The swivel?
Yes.
What was that?
The crab thing.
Oh.
Yes.
That made me laugh so hard.
That was it was just a dance. The whole thing was a wonderful dance.
And terrifying too.
Yeah.
The one comment I want to make is kind of what's buzzing all over the internet, because everyone's paying. I think people are talking more about Johnny Depp's trial than they are about this movie, because I hadn't heard anything about, really, unless I went digging for it, about how this movie was doing. And obviously the reviews have not been great on Secrets of Dumbledore, and I think it's to no surprise that it has a lot to do with, excuse me before I sound like a toad, pardon moi. So the image of Grindelwald as Johnny Depp gave us, I always felt, this is a very personal opinion, that was very competitive to the darkness that Voldemort made me feel. There was a menace to Grindelwald in the first and second film that in this film was lacking for me. Mads Mikkelsen is a fantastic actor, and I think his version of Grindelwald was his own. And yes, that scene when he revives the Chillin to his evil plans to work for the Chillin to bow to him it's grotesque and horrible and awful and anyway, evil, right? But that's really the only moment. when I see Dumbledore and Geller in that opening scene in that cafe, in the mind cafe of Dumbledore, there's a lovingness to Grindelwald that, yeah, and I think maybe it's because we're seeing it through Dumbledore's eyes. Sure, we could probably make that argument, but ultimately, we will never know because the changes were made, and I think that element of evil that makes also the beautiful and the magical stand out was missing. I think that juxtaposition of things just wasn't there, and I think that's what some people are hinting at. What's wrong with the plot? The plot had no depth. Well, you need a bigger conflict, and there was good conflict, but not at the depth that Johnny Depp was going to add to it. I think very, very humbly speaking here.
I think it almost needs to be like a balance between this version of Grindelwald with Johnny Depp's version of Grindelwald.
It's just hard.
It's just, yeah.
Two very different essences, you know?
But it also makes you think what made him such a big threat, because I know there was like, I think it was in the first movie of Harry Potter where they were talking about like the big battle between Dumbledore and Grindelwald.
It's interesting because these stories, in and of themselves, have characters, you know. But then there's also the reality of how they had to make the movie and how there's a certain, like, it would have been nice to see Johnny Depp's take on this character, especially with the way that this one was written, right? To see him have a more possibly being a little bit more vulnerable to Dumbledore, you know, really seeing that humanity to him, because I feel like Johnny Depp could have done that. He has a charm to him as well. In the roles that he plays, like the Mad Hatter is still one of my favorite roles of his that I've seen, and so I think it is sad that we wouldn't get to see that, and so I think that's why it was really difficult going into this movie, because there was already so much drama on the outside, that it was very difficult to take in the magic of the inside, because we were just so slapped in the face of reality that it was really hard to swallow this movie. But I mean, given that the ending was, it felt more conclusive, and I think that did make it a lot more, and a lot of the actors from the other movies. All in all, to say, like, the actor who plays Newt, Jacob, right, the baker. There were so many actors in there as well that really kept the magic alive, and the Albus Dumbledore, I'm forgetting his name.
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Sorry if I'm forgetting your names. I hope to work with you guys one day. All of you guys, you did help bring the magic, but there is a lot of things that was really unfortunate that took away from the magic of the movie. And I hope as Harry Potter fans that we can enjoy these movies and really feel for these characters, and really sink into the magic of it all, with reality hopefully being better the next time that a Harry Potter movie comes around.
And with all that said, I personally give this movie an 8 out of 10 because, well, an 8 out of 10, and some people will be like, wow, that's a high score, and you know, and there's rubrics for why it shouldn't have an 8 out of 10, and I read a lot of reviews on IMDb, and I can understand a lot of people's position 100%. But here's what I think about, and you know, we're a family of filmmakers. I think about the long days on set. I think about how a script is finished, approved, and you get a deal signed on it, and between that moment until the day you wrap production, and then until the day you finish editing, so many things change. So many things change, except what doesn't change is the hard work that people do while they're filming by the cast and the crew. And that came out on the screen. Mm-hmm. I got 100% what that work was about. Mm-hmm. And I appreciated everything that it was about, because every single one of those people showed up and they brought their A game, and it looks great. Every role was beautifully put together. The story itself, I'm sure, had to change because of different elements of reality that affected it. And so what we're given, though, should not be hurt by that. So that's the way I look at things. 8 out of 10 for me. The movie still requires, I would say, a second or third viewing for me to really get a flavor of what it is that I've just taken a sip out of. And maybe on that second and third watch, it'll be delicious enough to swallow. and consume entirely.
Yeah.
So that's my final.
And I think seeing them in
2 cents.
continuation as well, because like I know I should have watched the other two right before watching this one. A lot of time did go by, so I went in kind of not fresh with like I always watch like the Harry Potter movies, but not the
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts movies as much. So I think I would like to kind of see the three of them in sequence again. Just because I think you get more and more out of them every time you see them. So
And I think that's another reason why the music stuck out to me, is because we have been, like, the more recent Harry Potter movies we've been watching are the original ones that came out in theaters, the original 8 that we watched. So I think hearing that music again really made me feel like, oh, okay, so we're watching a Harry Potter movie, you know, and we're seeing Dumbledore and Hogwarts and Newt, and all of those different characters. Seeing Jacob get married again, like getting married,
Finally.
made me very, very happy. That whole aspect of the story.
Alright, so I'm jumping in here now to give my final thoughts. I agree with a lot of what they're saying. I think for me, to kind of keep it short, I really enjoyed it. I love Harry Potter as well. But I think there is, like everyone said, there is a reality to this movie, of the world outside, that kind of made it hard to swallow at first. I think the biggest thing that hurt this movie, that really wasn't the movie's fault, was, again, the stuff going on the outside, but as well as how much time went by in between. Because, you know, that's one aspect. Because then people that don't watch, you know, Crimes of Grindelwald right away, or right before watching this one, will be a little lost. And half, you know, a good portion of the movie will be trying to figure out what's going on, rather than what's going to happen next. And I think also, you know, when you have a plan to make 5 movies or a continuous saga, there has to be a level of, okay, there's a subplot going on in this movie, but we all know that it still leads to something greater, something bigger. And with the first Harry Potter series, I mean, reading the books is, you know, watching the movies is one thing, but then when you look at the books, that's a whole other thing. But in both mediums of the same story, yes, there's different aspects and different ways that it was portrayed, but we all know it was leading to that final battle between Harry and Voldemort, and that was always the canvas and the underlying, like, suspense that everybody watching these movies was always getting ready for and was always preparing for. From reading the books and watching the movies, there is that level of, like, this is what we're building up to. So then the end is just perfect. It's just epic. It's glorious. It's just so great. Whereas with this one, I think with the time that went by, and now even with the way that this one ended, I genuinely don't know. Like my dad said, the conflict, the stakes aren't high enough. There's not enough to, I think, keep the momentum of it going. I don't know. The momentum of the Harry Potter series just continuously was going. You know, Harry's able to achieve one thing, but then it right away, you know, bounces off to produce another conflict. And with this one, I don't know what that is yet. There's not, I don't know if creatively, like you guys, like my family was saying, that happened in the midst of making this movie, but I'm just very curious to see where it would go next. They could still probably do something great, but I think every other aspect of this movie, again, the acting, the CGI, I mean, come on, some of the effects were incredible, and there's a lot of great things in this movie, but as the Fantastic series as a whole and where it's going, what the intention is of a movie like this, I think is still it'd be very interesting and curious to see where they lead. I hope we see more Dumbledore. I hope we see more Newt. Some of these characters that are intriguing. Even Grindelwald. I just think there's a lot that they're trying to do with these movies. But anyway, that's kind of our take, our thoughts. We hope you guys can, we'd love to connect with all of you down below in the comments to hear what you guys thought of this movie. If you guys are Harry Potter fans or not, and what you guys, what your opinion is on this movie, and if you thought it was good, if you thought it was horrible, if you thought it was somewhere in between, or what you hope to see, and what stood out to you in Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. But with that, go out there, spread your light, and we'll see you guys in the next MaJeliv video. Have a MaJeliv day.
Bye.
Bye.